Hey guys, what's up? Thanks for coming to see this tutorial. Let's get right to it. If you guys downloaded the free Star Wars model pack by VideoCopilot, you'll know that it has a bunch of great models here, and I was very excited to get this. And I have been working with it for the last few weeks, and but I was going to make a video using this TIE fighter here, and I realized when we bring it in to Element 3D, it comes in like this. The problem with that is the TIE fighter looks more like this, okay? And the noticeable differences are that you have it's more of a black matte kind of metal all around. The wings are a little lighter here, and then there's this cool red part here on the right. So it's a far cry from this. Okay, so what we got to do if we want to work with this is we need to make it look a little more like how it is in the movies. And so I'm going to teach you guys how to go from this to this. All right, so let's get started. A lot of this is going to be in After Effects, Element, and a little bit of Photoshop work. Okay, so for starters, what you need to do is download this model pack, which you probably already have. But one thing that you might not have noticed is alternate texture files, download JP map files. And that's what we're going to use to modify the skin here, all right, the textures of this model, so it can look like this. Okay, so let's start fresh and with a new comp, and this is fine for now. And let's go ahead and do a few things first. Let's go ahead and make a solid. We're just going to make a background here. Any solid's fine. We're going to bring up our ramp. Let's see, gradient ramp, drop it in there. We're just going to do a little sky here because I want it to look like a sky. And so I just do blue going into white. Beautiful. And then go ahead and drop in any clouds. Okay, you can get this from the internet. So if you go here to clouds, put up clouds on Google, pick one of these and bring it in. So go ahead and bring that in. And we'll go ahead and fit to comp. So we right click on that and just fit to comp. And we'll put the mode as, I think, screen. And there you go. You got something. We got a little background here going. Okay. So I'm just going to save that. Save often. Go ahead and right click again. Choose new solid. And we are going to name this, TIE for TIE fighter, right? So the TIE fighter will be there. Okay, go to your effects and presets over here on the right and go all the way to VideoCopilot and choose element and bring it over onto your solid. All right, go to your scene setup over here under the effects control and click on scene setup. This will come up. Go to your models and pick Star Pack and Space Fighter. It's gonna give you this little warning. It's all good. So here we go. This is what we're supposed to be working with. All right, we're gonna just press OK just to see that it is there. You can right click over here and choose a camera. Any camera will do. And if you press C, you can just like kind of hover around him like this and just turn it very easily. Okay, so looks good, looks wonderful, not really, right? We want it to look like where is it? This, right? All right, so what do? What's going on? What's the problem here? All right, let's go into the file again, scene setup, and make a drop down here, and there's 4 materials. So this thing is broken up into 4 different sections, right? So here's the body, the arm, the wings and the windows. Okay. And now if we modify the textures here and just drop it, for instance, I put a new material and I double click on that. It's going to be, let's say if it's black. And, oops, I applied it by mistake. So, but let's say I put it here on just the body. Okay. Now I can go here and change the color of it, whatever. Let's see. Let's change the color to red, or even like black, right? Something like that. So I can do that. The problem comes in that we can't isolate this part here and make it red. And so the only way to do that is, and I'm going to just Command Z here, is to actually go into the different textures that were provided for us and modify that. And the only one I'm going to modify is the diffuse, right? So if you come up here, you see the diffuse is here, and this is what it's made of. And let's take a really good look at that. And to do that, we go to our Star Pack JPEG, the one that we just downloaded, I told you to download. And let's take a look at the original one. So I'm going to right click, and this is the body diffuse, right click, open with Photoshop. Okay, and so this is what wraps around your model, at least the body part, and gives it this look. Okay? All right, so this is this. So what we need to do is go into Photoshop and modify this so it can be darker. So what needs to be red is red, and basically reskin this model. Okay? All right, so I'm going to bring up what I did, and that would be body diffuse 1, PSD. Okay, and so we want it to get to like this. And you're thinking, what's the logic in this? And there isn't much logic, okay? The way that a 3D program wraps these textures is, they have their own system, and it's kind of like a puzzle. So we have to figure out what we want changed and then apply that to it. I've done all the hard work for you guys as far as finding out what we need to actually change. Some things are straightforward. You can kind of figure it out. And other things, you're going to have to do some trial and error to figure out what to do. And you might be asking, little parentheses here, why don't we just go into the model, right? We have the model, and this is true. If you go into the models, they do provide, in the Star Pack, the OBJs. So if we go into, let's say, Space Fighter, excuse me, and we open with, a 3D program like Cinema 4D, the problem with this is that we have very few options here. Right? So first, it doesn't come with the textures. And even if we did, same thing as Element 3D, we can only apply it to big chunks of the model, right? So the window, the arm, the body, blah, blah, blah. And to actually, because it's like this, it's not, they kind of flattened it, if you will. We can't select different sections of this model to play with and all that. But who wants to go through all that trouble anyways, right? I don't know about you, but just letting you know where I'm coming from here. Yeah, I dabble in Cinema 4D and everything like that, but I want the final result as fast as possible, looking as good as possible. Okay, so the fastest way to do this is, in fact, going into Photoshop and doing this. It's very, very quick. And once you understand it, you'll know that you can get a pretty good result by doing this. Okay, so let's get right to it. This red part here, okay, is this part. And let's go to, we're going to jump from After Effects and Photoshop quite frequently. Okay, let me just say okay here and go back to my comp. And so this red, what we want is this red here. We want this chrome part in the front. Okay, and as far as the back is concerned, I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I want it to look a little cooler than just black, because that's basically what it is right now. So anyways, just to let you know how to turn this, go into your Element 3D, go into Particle Replicator under Rotation, and that does not move. Yes, it does. Okay, yeah, and just turn this. And what I did was I added a little bit of chrome here and the red here. Okay, so it just looks cooler, right? Looks much, much cooler. So to do this, okay, first thing I did is this light gray wasn't working for me. I needed it to be dark, matte black. And so I needed to select all this light gray and make it this dark black. And to do this, okay, and I'm just going to get what the color is here of this thing here. And we could do it by pressing I and selecting this and then double clicking, and then you get the hex number here. Let me bring it up here just in case it's not in the screen. 404040. Okay, you can copy it. And what we'll do is in your diffuse JPEG, okay, what you want to do first, double click this to remove the lock, is you want to make a new layer and fill it with this gray. There we go. Turn off the gray for now. Go back to layer 0, which is the original layer. And we'll go to Image and select Color Range. So we're going to pick a range of colors here. In this case, this light gray. So I'm just going to pick the light gray anywhere you want as far as light gray, and it's going to select only that span of colors, right? Hopefully it's just gray. Maybe, as you can see, everything that's white is kind of selected, all right? So we say okay, and all these marching ants come up. We bring up we go to layer 1 now. Just click on layer 1 without clicking on anything. Go down here and click this little button here, and this is going to add a layer mask, right? So you click on that. Boom. There you go. We are already making everything dark. Now, let's go ahead and work on getting our silver in. Okay, so silver. What do we need to make it silver? Well, what I did was I went into Google, okay, and I looked up Chrome textures, and a lot of things come up. And you just pick one of these guys. All you need is some Chrome textures. It doesn't have to be super high res or whatever. And if you do want a high res, you go to your search tools and you pick size and you put large. And you know, these are more high res. Doesn't really have to be. Okay, so I picked one called Metallic Silver. Okay, and I right clicked it. You right click and save as, and you put it to your desktop. All right, so go into Photoshop. And here it is. Go to desktop and pick Metallic Silver and say okay. Open it up. Remove this tab here, and what you're going to do is double click to remove the lock, right click and pick, right click not on top of the thumbnail, but in that layer, and just pick Convert to Smart Object and just bring it over into your JPEG document, and go ahead and close the metallic one. Don't save it. Okay, so now it's here. This is your silver. Okay, so here it is. We're going to just turn that off for now. And what do we need to select? So we need to select this guy over here, this area down here, this weird area here that makes no sense, but it needs to be selected, and then this, what is that, octagon, and this circle here. And that will cover all of our silver places. So first thing you need to do is press P to select your pen tool, and Z will bring up the little marquee here. We can just get a little bit closer back to P, and let's go ahead and select this area. Let's see what area it is here. Yeah, okay. So I picked this area right here. So you just go click here, and keep on clicking. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. We can go right through this. It's not going to matter. And there you go. If you need to do a curve, like right here, just a little curve here, if you want to, you click and you pull, and then you can just adjust the curve there. If you press Alt, it will only affect the left side. And what you want to do is point it to where you want, the direction you want it to go in next, in this case right here. And I let go of everything once again. I click on where I want to go and continue. Okay, so you're getting some Photoshop lessons here too, which is always a good thing. All right, so in here, another curvy. So I select it, keep it selected, and then pull, and there you go. I got that there. All right, so here we go. That's our first path. Okay, and if you go here to paths, you'll see it's there. It's our work path, and we can save that if we want to. There's no need exactly at this time. But I am going to save the document here as TIE Fighter Body Diffuse 2 Photoshop document, and save it just so that you don't something happens to your computer and you have to start all over. Nobody likes that. Nobody. Let's go down here and do the same thing. Down here, right? Sorry, where is it? Over here. Sometimes I forget. Yeah, all the way down there. Okay, so let's go all the way down here. Once again, let's go ahead and do that. And, you know, if you're savvy with the pen, you know, go ahead and skip like a few clicks. You can go all the way down over here and just pull that like that. Boom, boom, boom. And go ahead and select that area. Okay, great. So now that's selected. Wonderful. Another place here is this little guy here, and let's just look at this as reference. So it's starting from here over there. I don't think it has to be exact, but let's go ahead and press P again and just bring this over. I think that's what it is, right? Actually, it's more over here, according to this, right? It's right over here, just with this little triangle here. That's fine. So if you wanted to, and here's another little tip. So if you want to move this path around, what you're going to have to do is go into this tool here and select Direct Selection. And then you can just click on what you want to modify, in this case here. And I'll just pull it. Okay. Something like this. I think that's what it is, right? Yeah, something like that. Not sure it has to be exact, but yeah. If you need to, let's say you wanted to modify this curve here, okay, somehow, then you could do a number of things. You could press P for pen, and you just add an anchor point. Say I wanted to add it right there, and then press A, and you can bring it up like that, something like that. Okay, so that is done too. Great. Oops. All right, so now what? Let's continue. Let's zoom out here, and that's a Command minus sign, and that'll zoom out. And what else has to be silver? What else has to be silver? This big guy here and this octagon. So let's go ahead and do that really quickly. All right, and press P and just go around. Okay, and up here. So, and let's zoom out here. And you can bring up your hand here by pressing the space bar. And we're going to do this whole thing here too, right? And to easily do that, you just select an elliptical marquee tool. And if you do a shift drag, it will be like a perfect circle. It gets bigger. And just position it, and you can position it. This makes it bigger by dragging it, but if you press the space bar, you can actually move it around. So with these two things, we just go ahead and select all that here. And since that's selected, just go into path and just put make work path. Say OK. We want to select a new. Don't do that because it just messed up everything here. But go ahead and make a new work path. OK. Okay. So that's not working, and that's because we need to save this. So save this as path 2. Go here, make work path, say OK. There we go. All right, so they're both here. Let's take that out. All right, so we have all our paths for our silver, right? So now we just have to apply that this silver to these different areas. So let's go ahead and start with this big circle here. And what I do is go to paths, and we just select that, go back to layers, and you're going to go over here once again, make a mask, and there you go. But we want this to be in screen so that some of that texture can leak over, right? So go like that, maybe bring down the opacity a little bit. That's good. Once again, I am just going to Command J that, and what we do is it makes a duplicate of this silver here, but we don't need this mask here. It's not working for us, so I'm just going to delete it. Okay. Turn that off. Someone's calling me. Go ahead and go to opacity. Bring it up to 100% again. It's 100%, and we could leave it at screen. All right. So if you press V, it'll bring up this move tool, and we'll put it right over here, and we're going to go ahead and select. Let's select all of these. If you go to path and you press Control click, all of these are selected. And so what we can do is position all of these. Whoops. We can position all of these in this place here all at once. So I'm putting this here so it can affect this part here, and I'm going to just duplicate this and put it over here. Then duplicate this by Command J, put it down here. Okay. And where they're overlapping, you're not going to want that, right? So you could do one of two things. You can just Command T to just go to where you need to go. For instance, that. So that's a free transform, and you can just change the size of it. And same thing with this one. Command T, and just bring it up because we don't need it to overlap. We don't want it to do that. Okay, so there you go. And now back to paths. Command click this, and now it's going to only affect these guys here, right? Hopefully. All right, so I am going to add a mask here. Go here. Now what I can do, and it gives me less control, is I can combine all these three and do it and once I do one mask, it'll affect them all. But I'm not going to do that because I like it when we have control. So let's just do that one at a time for all of these. And this one looks like it's weird, right? Looks like it's too skinny over here or whatever. And we can fix that if once we apply it to the 3D object, if it gives us, if it looks funny, we can go back and do that. All right, so one more down here, and once again, select this and go ahead and press a layer mask. All right, I'm going to save this. And if you want to know how it's coming out, okay, what you can do is go ahead and do a Command Shift S and go ahead and make it a JPEG. Put it where you're going to find it again. Say OK. All right. And let's go ahead and apply it here in our in After Effects, right, to this guy here. So scene setup, go down, go to Space Fighter, pick Space Fighter body, go down to diffuse under textures, click on that. You're going to see DDS here, but we're going to swap it out for we're going to swap it out to what we did, and it's not that. Okay, it's here it is, right? TIE Fighter body diffuse 2 that we just did, and say okay. It's going to give you this little warning here. Just say okay. And let's take a look at our, and say okay again. Let's take a look at what we have here. Okay, so now we have the silver here, which is nice, very nice, right? And let's see, and the back of it. And now it has a cool booster, right? It's also chrome, very cool, and we're doing good. Looks good. But what we need to do now is work on that, making it red over here on the right side, and these two little guys here, which I think is how they shoot. Might be their shooter.